Hi guys, I hope you're all hanging in there. I know we are in some scary times, a lot of intense things going on in the world. And that was what I wanted to touch upon with these cards. And we'll get to this. This is a reading I did on Sunday night, days past. I got a new job and it makes it harder to find time to, do my readings and then edit my readings and get them out. And now it's like everything has already started happening from this reading. And so I decided to just kind of scrap that video and just talk about what I see here in the cards relating to what we're going through right now. We're talking about a world war, and that's actually what this reading was. I wanted to say, are we going to see a World War III kind of break out, like with bombs and stuff? I mean, it's been moving in toward an invasion, but now it's really like the war is on. And so let me show you what I got. So I just decided to just lay this out because we can go through this quickly and get to this and then talk about what I think the cards are telling us about what this will lead to and where we're going from here. We started with the King of Pentacles, covered by the Temperance card. King of Pentacles, I read as Biden, even though normally he would be a King of Cups, and I say Biden, but not just Biden. These are world leaders coming out and doing the sanctions, the Pentacles, money, practical matters. The war, for some, is just going to look like this, sanctions. Covered by Temperance, I feel that, well, of course, we know the sanctions are meant to temper or damper Putin's plans, the invasion, the damage that he hopes to inflict. They are trying to, of course, temper this. And I'll tell you also that they're doing it, and a lot of people are talking about this today, why not all at once, right? There is a reason for that in this temperance, and the consequences that they will be dishing out, they want to be able to do it not all at once, but a little more gradually. Whether or not you think that's a good idea or not, this is their plan. So you'll see things elevate. They will be able to continue to elevate rather than do it all at once and then have nothing left to pile on top of the consequence for Putin. I also forgot to mention, and I think it's important, the Temperance card is also an angel card. There is a giant angel here, and I feel that when I see images of Ukraine on the TV, particularly the capital, which they're showing a lot of right now, I feel like there's the presence of giant angels, and I think they are there, and that's going to help. So at the surface, we have the Hermit. I got the Hermit for Putin in my last reading on Putin and his plans for what we saw. He was moving in on Ukraine and we wondered, where is this going? I did feel that he was not going to be able to stop. He was going to continue. And he's obsessed. And he's alone in his obsession, okay? So the Hermit, it's interesting because I've been thinking about this card more, and I feel like this is almost in a way, because I think of what we're seeing with Putin is like a egomania playing out on the world stage, and I think it's like promising the fact that he's sort of alone in this, that I think people even around him don't really want to be doing this. I don't think the Russian people really wanted, this is like a Putin thing. This is him, his obsession. I think he spends time alone. I don't think he likes to be around other people. He's probably paranoid. And a lot of this was sort of dreamed up in his own. What I read in that last read was that his mind is also just like not well. He's got like mystical fantasies and again, that sort of something mania where he builds himself up to be this magnificent figure or important figure. Anyway, this speaks to me. So the fact that this is on the surface just says, I think that what we're seeing is just of his own making, not necessarily like he's alone in believing this is a necessary or good idea. Three of Swords in the recent past. We've always known that Putin holds a deep injury based on the way back when the Soviet Union broke up. This has always been a pain in his heart. And I feel that's, you know, we know that's part of this, or that's driving this in a way. This is what happened in the past that is leading to the present. But I also feel on this that this is something more recent as well. He received some very bad news. I think it's about his health. And I think it turned everything up in gears, and moved things forward faster. And also, I'll add, for entertainment purposes only, obviously I'm not a doctor, this is just my feeling and my reading from my cards, I think that the health issues have him on medication, and I talk about this in my last reading on him as well, the feeling that he's intoxicated by something, and I have sort of put it together that it could be a prescription of something that is enhancing his elevated thoughts and feelings and causing him to want to be alone more. Moving into the situation, we have the Hierophant. Now, I see this as the world governments that are fighting against Putin. You know, I feel some of that here with the world leaders. These are groups coming together. I mean, I know that Biden just spoke to the G7. I know there's NATO. We could also have the United Nations. I mean, we're gonna see some bad things, and world governments are gonna get involved. And I feel this as a strong force. I do. I know it kind of looks like Ukraine's just sort of there on their own. Like, who's gonna come in and save Ukraine? This just sort of feels like it's hovering over the situation. And the fact that it is coming in, although this, again, I did this reading Sunday, it's like they already are doing this. They already are coming together and discussing what can we do to stop this wrong thing that's happening. The Hierophant is law and order. There are laws being broken, and we need to step in. And it's sort of a like, oh, no, you don't. This cannot stand. We need to do something about this. So we do see them coming together and discussing, and it's good to know that there's a world community of governments who are not gonna let this stand. I see Putin here in this 6 of Rods and this 3 of Rods. This is sort of like, how's he doing at this moment? He feels victorious. This 6 of Rods, he feels so high on himself. He feels so powerful. He just loves that everybody's talking about him, and he has the attention of the whole world. And like, you can see this 6 of Rods, it's very much like, here I come, I'm taking what's mine, I'm taking over, I win, I win, I win. And there's nothing you can do about it. This 3 of Rods is a sort of, this is a card that's literally like looking out over the land and deciding, what shall I do? It's sort of like, I read it as, what will I take, right? He's looking over landscapes. This is a card of travel overseas, you know, aspiration. So yeah, so I had him sort of feeling very powerful and wondering what he will take. Page of Pentacles in the hopes and fears. I feel this to be young soldiers. I mean, the fear being like, I actually feel this as being like Ukrainian young people who want to fight. Like, this might be like the resistance that we're gonna see more of, I believe. And it's gonna hurt what we see. But you know, of course it is for this much bigger cause. It's not in vain if you're, you know, fighting for these bigger principles, fighting for your country, and to wake the world up to what we just will not stand for, which is this violence against innocent people living their lives on their own land. So yeah, the young people, the resistors, they have hope and fear. And, you know, Putin might be afraid of it, which is why it's here. And a lot of people might have hope for it, which is why it's here, you know, hopes and fears. So I'm feeling them. And, you know, the first card I dropped here in the sort of final outcome of all of this is this Knight of Pentacles. So I initially thought, well, this is a pretty calm card. This is not a knight that is fighting. This is not a knight of swords that's pulling out swords. It's not a knight of wands, which could be like fire. A knight of pentacles stands, I feel this as like standing one's ground. So I thought, so, they're going to be able to sort of stand and protect, and it's not going to be a big ruckus, right? But then this card flew. I decided to throw a few more like I do, and this card just flew right out, this Ten of Swords. And this is where I felt like there's going to be a terrible moment, a terrible event, some terrible things that we're going to see of people being very, very badly hurt. And I hate to say that, but the Ten of Swords is like the worst, the thing you're afraid of happening. Yeah, it's gonna happen, but it also, it's an ending. The Ten of Swords is the end of the sword's journey. It ends in this terrible way, but it is the end. And so I kept feeling, because it's on the left side here, we're gonna have some things, but then it's gonna be in control. And with this wonderful Ace of Cups, it brings me to a brand new day. The Ace of Cups is like a birth. It's a new day, a new hope. And this I also feel like we're already feeling, because it's also a new outburst of emotion, of caring and healing. And so we've got this ending in this new beginning. And it's almost like the beginning, it's like I was saying, if there's an attack, the attack is going to be the beginning and the end of something, because it to me, it feels like it doesn't last long. In fact, I was saying, I think there's going to be a day, a terrible, terrible day, when we see a lot of what we see in this card. That this is a day that is more about seeing like these people, like citizens, okay? Trying to fight back and losing, okay? Yeah, I hate to say losing. Citizens trying to fight back and losing their lives, and the world will see it, and it will be the beginning of the end somehow. That the attack itself will be the end for Putin, And I see the attack here, and it leads to a sense of control that takes over, and more calm, and a new day. This Nine of Rods down here is a standing of one's ground. So this tells me that Ukraine manages to stand their ground, but I feel there are going to be units coming in, soldiers. I know we have said we're not sending in soldiers, so I don't know. I hope these are Western allied soldiers. That's what it feels like to me. It occurs to me, could this be Russian soldiers? But these are not aggressive soldiers. These are soldiers that are standing there to protect. So I feel like the Russian soldiers are meant to go around and be more aggressive, and they're already arresting. They are arresting protesters. I saw like an hour ago. I'm like, that's part of it. That's what's like going to be coming, is when they start picking on the citizens. When you start to see that, it's going to be a whole new thing. And I think that once that happens, somehow some of these groups, maybe some of these governments start to say like, we need to bring in human walls and force fields to, and this could also be months from now that this happens. I felt this Ten of Swords to be like a day or an event, but I realized like on the other side, a day in this realm, we are sort of in slow motion. So an event can be a month, an event can be a year. It's just like we are in this event, but things are moving so fast, it could be a week of this before this happens. This feels safe to me. Like people feel safe because these guys are around. Ukrainians holding their ground, and a new day. And I felt this new day also in my other reading I did on Putin. In all of this, I felt Putin was gonna go. And that could also be represented here, that in his attack on these people, it is the end for him. By the way, I realized after I recorded this, I forgot to address the Justice card beneath the surface. And to be honest, that card confused me. And I've wondered about it a lot because it certainly does not feel like justice is beneath the surface driving what we're seeing. It feels like the exact opposite. But I think what I just said touched on the justice that we just haven't quite seen yet, which is that every bad thing Putin does will backfire on him. That's what I think this is here. The worse he is, the worse the consequences will be upon him. Because, and even like the news is pointing this out, like Russians have friends and family in Ukraine. I mean, it's like living in Michigan and having our country like take over Canada. It's like, these are your neighbors. You can't go around killing people's neighbors and get away with it. No matter how much disinformation propaganda you put out, there's just no justification. It's too much. And more to the point, you don't want to kill your neighbors. They feel like family, and sometimes they actually are. And there's already reports of some Russian soldiers who surrendered to some Ukrainian soldiers because they just didn't want to kill them. And that was the command. They said, no, we're out. And that makes sense to me. And I hope to see more of that. Putin may be very surprised by the fact that not everybody wants to fight his war for him. So I feel that we are in this Ten of Swords already. It has begun. It would be nice if it doesn't last very long. We'll just have to see. But it's already, as it begins, it will, in this reading, there will be a time when it's past and things will be more in control. These are not warring soldiers, but they are there, standing that ground, that Nine of Rods. And with these two cards, this ending and new beginning, it's like one leads to the other. So try to focus your energy on this Ace of Cups and the new beginning and the caring and the world coming together and these wonderful peace soldiers coming, actual peace soldiers. I know Putin likes to say his soldiers are peace soldiers, but he always says the opposite, just like Trump. I wonder where Trump learned that. And the holding of their ground and, the praying for these citizens who want to fight and resist. And because of them, there will be a new day. Because of them. Even if we see difficult things, it will lead to this new day. So I stand with them. I stand with Ukraine. We are all with, I would assume if you're watching this, we are all with Ukraine and those people, those citizens, and the new day that's coming for that part of the world. And let's see an ending to Putin and all of this behavior that's just leaving our world. We're done with that patriarchal, dominating, violent way. And that's what will be intolerable for us to see, and action will be taken to police this, to protect the innocent, really. At one point I did look at the bottom of the deck, and I did see this Queen of Cups, Two of Swords, and Page of Swords. I feel this Queen of Cups to be like Ukraine, and the people, the mothers, the grandmothers, the pride of that country. Two of Swords is self-protective. There's a self-protective element that's happening in this Page of Swords. I think I feel like we're gonna see people standing, more of that standing their ground. I'm not gonna leave my home, you'll have to drag me down the street. And unfortunately, there's just young people wanting to protect the people they love and care about. I say unfortunately because I don't want them to have to do that. And that just makes me sad. But, we'll keep checking in on this and keep praying for Ukraine and, try to put your energy into knowing for them and for their sake that, we're with you, and we want this new day for you all. We really hope that our governments will come together, and that every bad thing that Putin tries to do with his, armies is only going to move things forward faster for it to end. So I just feel like he's stabbing himself in the back as he stabs Ukraine in the back. And our hearts go out to Ukraine in this Ace of Cups. And the fact that everyone's heart's going out is gonna build a collective caring and healing that will bring forward this new time. So, hope you're all hanging in there, and I'll try to check in again soon. And thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.